is going to be my reference plane. Again, this line in the back is going to be my reference plane, and that relates to this line. Okay, so we're going to be counting off the reference planes, all right, back toward the object. So I just want to type in O for offset, and it wants me to specify an offset distance. Okay, all I want to do is I want to click from here to here. Okay, and that gives AutoCAD the offset distance. And then I can go up here, it says select object offset, and then I can click on the side I want to offset, which is back toward the object. Okay, now if I hit escape and then spacebar, I'll re-enter the command, and it wants me to specify the offset distance. So again, I'll go from here to here, and that gives AutoCAD the offset distance. I'll type snap on that, click on that line, and then back toward the object. Okay, and it offsets the correct distance. And then escape, spacebar, from here to here I'll click, and then I'll offset again. Okay, so I have my offset lines there, and I didn't have to enter a single digit. Okay, it takes some of the error possibilities out of the way. Alright, so now that I've done that, we're actually about to do the development. Okay, and this is where it can get a little tricky. Not a problem though. We've been down this road before, so we're just going to do our development. I like to work on the actual auxiliary view shape that we're most interested in. In other words, the one that we're doing our perpendicular projection to. So let's start off on shape 2673. Okay, so 2 lies on this line in the auxiliary view, then projects up. Okay, to here. Oh, let me get on the visible layer. Okay, so it starts off at this point, and then it jogs over one line. Okay, jogs over one line to point 6, and you can see it's that that's the line 6 is on from the front view. Okay, and then from there it jogs over one more line. Okay, and then you have to find out where 7 is on your front view. Okay, so that's the intersection of those two lines. And then we want to go back to 3. Well, 3 lies on this very first line. Okay, and it lies on this projection line. And then of course you can tell from here that there's a line between 3 and 2, so we can just go back to the beginning. Alright, and that's what that plane looks like in the true size and shape of that plane. Alright, so now we can just work on the other plane. Alright, let's work on the 3784. So I'll just type PL for polyline. I like working with polylines, you'll notice. Okay, so I wanted to start off at point 7. Well, I've already found point 7, and it's right there. Okay, so if I go, see that point 8 lies on the very back, it lies on the reference plane, and it's on the bottom according to the front view. So I'll just snap here. And then 4 is on the very front, the very last line. Okay, and it's on that line of projection. Alright, and then from 4 to 3 there's a line, and there's point 3. I'll just follow that up. Okay, and there's what that plane looks like in the projected view. Alright, now this is what I was talking about earlier about since point 1 lies directly behind point 2, so on and so forth. We're going to work on that plane next. Okay, now this is point 2. Okay, and we're going to find point 1. Well, I can tell from here that point 1 lies directly behind point 2, and from this view I can tell that point 1 lies on that line. Okay, so that's point 1 in the projected view. Alright, now we want to find point 10. Okay, point 10 lies on that line, and it lies directly behind point 6, which is on the second line over. Okay, so point 10 would be right here. Okay, and then even though you can't see it directly, there is a line running between point 10 and point 6, and this view also verifies that, and it's on the second line, so it goes all the way back to here. Okay, so now we've done 3 planes. We got one more plane that you would actually see, and this one's probably the trickiest because you just don't expect it. But you have an inclined plane here, and this causes a little bit of trickery. So you really have to just go through your lessons and and try to find the correct method. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off back here at point 10. Okay, now I have a line running from point 10 to point 9. Okay, so that will also happen in the projected view. Well, point 9 lies directly behind point 8, which is on the reference plane. Okay, so point 9 is going to lie somewhere on this line here. Alright, now I can tell that point 9 is projected up down this line. Okay, and we already said it lies on the reference plane. So that's how that line goes from point 10 to point 9 in the auxiliary view. And then if you look down in the front view, you have a line running from point 9 to point 8. 8 also lies on the reference plane, and we've found earlier that point 8 is that point there. Now it may help you as you're getting started to number as you go along. Okay, in fact, it could greatly help you out, but to save time, I really have to cut down on the numbering that I do. Okay, so now let me just turn off that construction layer so you can see what it looks like. Okay, that's what the outside of the object looks like. Now we still have some hidden lines to deal with, so let's do that. Okay, now we know we're going to have a hidden line between points 5 and 9. Okay, that lies around the back of the object, but it runs completely across. Okay, so point 5 would be right here. Okay, and point 9 is all the way on the other side. Alright, and that would be a hidden line, so I'll just click on the line and change the layer. Alright, and also, since this is metric and this template was actually created in inch, you have to adjust the line type scale, and on this one I've already played around with it, and 15 works good. Okay, so I'm going to again turn off the construction layer, and that's what that auxiliary view looks like. Okay, and here's the numbered version. Alright, so, and I know it looks a little tricky, but this is what the object looks like in 3D. Alright, and if I use this feature in Inventor to look directly at that plane, it'll roll it around to where that plane is perpendicular to the viewer, and you can see that that shape looks a lot like that, except it's rotated just a little bit. In fact, if I change the view to where you can see the hidden line in the back, okay, they're exactly the same. Alright, and that is the development of problem 7.6-1.